Hi, good morning. How's everyone? So I am still in New York, but I'm actually going to be leaving for Mexico, San Miguel Allende, tomorrow to join my family. They're coming from Los Angeles, and we're going to spend Thanksgiving in Mexico. And from there, I'll be returning to Los Angeles to actually go to India. So today I thought I'll share some insights on sex and spirituality. It's a topic that's not frequently discussed. There seems to be a taboo amongst people that sex and spirituality don't mix. I did write about this in my book, The Path to Love. And so I have some notes that I will use right now to basically share with you the insights that come from great spiritual traditions, particularly the wisdom traditions of the East. And you've probably heard about Tantra and the connection between sexual energy and spiritual energy. So here are some of the points that I have made notes on, which actually I used when I was writing The Path to Love. So let's see if you agree or disagree. I'd love your comments, any questions as well. And if you like the insights here, maybe you can also share them with your other friends on Facebook and on Twitter, etc., so we can actually expand on this conversation. Insights on sex and spirituality. Number one, sexual energy is primal, and sexual energy is also the creative energy of the universe. All things that are alive come from, where else? Sexual energy. In animals and other forms, sexual energy expresses itself as biological creativity. In humans, sexual energy can be creative at all levels: physical, emotional, and spiritual. In any situation, when we feel attraction or arousal or awakening or alertness or interest or passion or inspiration or excitement or joy or creativity or enthusiasm, guess what? In each of these situations, an element of sexual energy is at work. So whenever we feel these states of awareness that I just mentioned, we must put our attention on the energy that we're experiencing, nourishing it with our attention, experiencing it with joy, and keeping it alive in our awareness. If you keep this energy alive in your awareness, you will feel a lot of physical energy as well, and a lot of passion for life. So that leads to my second point. Sexual energy and desire is sacred and chaste. The suppression of sexual energy is false, ugly, and unchaste. I hope you agree. Number three, during sexual union, there's union between flesh and spirit, obviously. Number four, bliss, carefreeness, and playfulness are the essence of sex. Number five, to improve your sexual experiences, get rid of your expectations. This is a problem in Western society, too many expectations. And expectations are in three areas usually: performance, exemplified in the question, how am I doing? Two, feeling, exemplified in the question, how am I feeling? And number 3, security, exemplified in the question, do you love me? Point number 6, in sex, as in all areas of life, resistance is born of fear. All resistance is mental, not physical. It implies judgment against what is being felt. Sex becomes a problem when it gets mixed up with hidden emotions such as shame, guilt, and anger. So let me know if you think you agree or disagree. Number 7, sexual intimacy is the road to the taste or experience of true freedom because it is the one area of life in which we become completely uninhibited and free. There's a poem of Rumi where he says, if you're not naked by now, go back to sleep. This poem is very subtle, naked at all levels, not just physical, emotional, but naked in the exposure of your spirit. Go back to sleep because that's the general condition of humanity. Everybody's asleep. Okay, number 8. Sexual fulfillment occurs when the experience comes from playfulness instead of need. This is a very important point. Any relationship that is based on need is doomed for failure. Relationships that come from playfulness can lead to ecstasy. So I'm looking at your comments. Rose Fullhurst says, I agree. Carolyn agrees. Alianza Jade says yes. Jeffrey Guerra says, context, please. Yes, I'll come to context. Okay. More. David Jonathan says, agree fully. Okay, so now let's keep going. So I'll complete my points and then we can have more of a conversation. So where were we? We were point 8, that playfulness is important. Frequently, people bring their conflicts and needs into their sexual experience. And when sex is used to fulfill needs, it leads to addiction. When sex comes from playfulness, as I said before, the result is ecstasy. Point number 9, all problems related to sex, such as neurosis, deviancy, sexual misbehavior, violence, abuse, can be traced to resistance, to repression, and to suppression, not to the sexual urges themselves. If we are allowed to discover our urges, desires, and emotions without outside inhibition, they won't go to extremes. Extremism in any form is a reaction to repression, inhibition, and suppression. Aggression and violence are the shadow energies of fear and impotence. We've seen a lot of sexual aggression in society recently. It's even been part of the political debate. And so you can imagine that those are expressions of the shadow energies of fear and impotence. Number 10, sex is a means of escaping our little self or the ego. It is many people's only experience of meditation. So when we have the experience of sexual ecstasy, we are, of course, beyond ego. Meaning, number 11, meaningful sex, and somebody asked for context, has to be value-based. Values are personal. Each situation that has sexual energy in it involves the whole human being and their entire value system. It's important to recognize this. My values may be different from yours, but I have no right to be the moral judge of other people's values, as long as they're not in the direction of violence. It is important, however, to have core values and respect them. Without values, we become spiritually bankrupt. So values have to be understood in any sexual experience. Sexual experience will never cause problems and will always be joyful if lovers share the same values. And finally, true intimacy is union between flesh and flesh, between subtle body and subtle body, between soul and soul. Sexual energy is sacred energy. And when we have restored the sexual experience to the realm of the sacred, the world will be chaste and divine. It will be holy and it will be healed. Okay, so Joshua Shaw says, our country is spiritually bankrupt right now. I have to agree, unfortunately. Marzia says, very important topic. Yes, it is, because nobody discusses it. And when they do, it is at the level of the banal instead of being at the level of the sacred. Nona says, agreed. Meryl Marley says, agree. She's from Zurich. Thanks, Marilyn. Liz agrees. Rose says, beautiful. Mary Hakimi agreed. Now, somebody here, Patricia has a very important point. She says, values are the energy price we place on ourselves. Each action requires energy, and when we trade out values, we trade the value of energy. Very important. This is the same is also true for money. The way we spend money and on whom we spend money is also a reflection of our values. Okay, I think all of you are in agreement with these points. Please share them with others if you think. Maybe we can expand on each of these points and continue this conversation. Capri Cross, namaste from Hudson, Florida. Randhir, Harasha Randhir, love from the UAE. Love to you, Harasha. And says, sharing souls, very beautiful. Okay. So James Anthony Davis says, I do a study and American forms of Tantra. This is fine with what we're learning. Okay, that's very good to know that, ultimately all spirituality is about awareness, self-awareness, awareness of the other, awareness of our values. And, spirituality is also creativity at the highest level. And what today we spoke of was creativity which is biological and creativity that is playful and creativity that is part of combining these energies, spiritual and sexual, because they're both fundamentally the most important energies that keep the universe alive and keep our species and all species alive. But as I said, in this understanding, we can bring sexual experience into the realm of the holy and the chaste experience, which is connecting with our divine self. Okay, Angela, peace and love from Detroit. Veera says, bingo. I think on that note we'll end today. Bingo. Nablam says, we want Chopra Group in Morocco. Well, establish it and then get in touch with me and I'll support you as much as possible. Mandeep Kaur Bhamra says, this is wrong. Why, Mandeep? Why is it wrong? What have I said that was wrong? Please post on here and then I'll try and respond to you. Okay. Till tomorrow, I wish you goodbye, and tomorrow probably from San Miguel, which is in Mexico. Be holy, be chaste, be healed.